What Nigerians are witnessing right now is a phase many people have waited for a long time. For years, armed groups, criminal gangs, and violent networks have operated across parts of the north, spreading fear, disrupting farming, attacking travelers, and making daily life difficult for innocent people. Today, the conversation has changed slightly, not because everything has ended, but because there is visible pressure, visible arrests, and visible disruption of these groups. Reports and security briefings circulating within the country point to coordinated actions by security agencies targeting the leadership structure of armed gangs operating across forest routes, rural corridors, and border communities. The key thing here is not just arrests, but who is being arrested. Once leaders, coordinators, and logistics handlers are removed from circulation, the entire structure begins to weaken. This is how organized crime collapses gradually, not overnight. As these operations continue, Nigerians are beginning to notice a shift in tone from official security communications. There is now more emphasis on intelligence-driven operations, interagency cooperation, and follow-up actions after arrests. This matters because random patrols alone cannot defeat organized groups. It is information, tracking, patience, and precision that break networks apart. Please remember to like this video and subscribe, because understanding these issues helps us stay informed and protected. Now, what makes this moment important is that these actions are not happening in isolation. They are part of a broader attempt to restore confidence in areas that have suffered repeated attacks. Insecurity is not just about violence. It affects food supply, school attendance, healthcare access, and even market prices. When farmers abandon land, everyone feels it. When highways become unsafe, trade slows down. So any serious attempt to dismantle armed gangs has economic and social meaning. Another important angle is how these arrests affect fear itself. For a long time, some communities felt abandoned, believing that criminal groups were untouchable. Once arrests begin to happen and names start coming out, that psychological grip begins to loosen. Fear survives when criminals appear invisible or unstoppable. It weakens when people see consequences. Again, please like and subscribe, because this channel brings these explanations in clear English so everyone can understand. However, it is important to stay realistic. This is not the end of insecurity. Criminal networks are complex. They rely on money, weapons supply, movement routes, and sometimes local collaborators. Removing leaders is a major step, but it must be followed by sustained pressure, proper prosecution, and community protection. Without that, new leaders can emerge. The current focus on arrests suggests that authorities are trying to avoid only reacting to attacks and instead prevent them by dismantling planning structures. This approach, if sustained, can reduce incidents over time. Nigerians should pay attention not only to headlines, but to patterns. Are arrests followed by court cases? Are communities seeing fewer attacks? Are displaced people returning home? These are the real indicators. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe so you continue to get these updates. There is also a political dimension. Security is one of the strongest tests of any government. Public expectations are high, especially after years of hardship. That is why every action now receives strong reactions. Supporters see hope. Critics demand proof. The truth is that Nigerians want results more than words. They want safety they can feel, not just statements they can hear. Another thing Nigerians should understand is that insecurity in the north does not affect only the north. Nigeria is deeply connected. When one region is unstable, prices rise nationwide, businesses suffer, and trust in institutions weakens. So when pressure is applied to armed gangs, it benefits the entire country. Please like and subscribe, and share this video so more people can understand what is happening. There is also growing emphasis on cutting off movement corridors used by these groups. Forest routes, rural paths, and border-adjacent areas have been major advantages for criminal gangs. When security forces begin to monitor and restrict these routes, gangs lose flexibility. They become easier to track, and their operations become riskier. Another key part of this story is intelligence cooperation. No single agency can handle this alone. Success depends on coordination between police, military, intelligence services, and local informants. When that coordination improves, arrests become more targeted and effective. It is also important to note that ordinary citizens play a role. Information sharing, vigilance, and cooperation with lawful authorities help prevent criminals from hiding within communities. Trust between communities and security agencies is critical. Please, remember to like this video and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and keeps these conversations going. As these developments continue, Nigerians should remain cautious but hopeful. Progress in security is usually slow and uneven. Some areas improve faster than others. What matters is consistency. Once operations slow down, criminal groups regroup. That is why sustained pressure is more important than one-time victories. At the same time, security alone is not enough. Long-term stability requires economic opportunities, education, and justice. Young people must see alternatives to crime. Communities must feel protected, not exploited. Without this balance, insecurity can return in new forms. Right now, what Nigerians are seeing is a moment of pressure against armed gangs that could shape the coming months. Whether this becomes a lasting improvement depends on what follows next. Please like and subscribe and let me know you are following closely. As we move forward in this story, one thing that stands out clearly is the shift in public attention. Nigerians are no longer satisfied with just hearing that operations are ongoing. People now want to see outcomes they can feel in their daily lives. This is why every arrest, every raid, and every security update now carries more weight than before. People are watching closely. In many communities that have experienced repeated attacks, fear has changed how people live. Farmers reduced the size of their farms. Parents kept children at home. Traders avoided certain routes. Over time, this created a silent crisis that statistics alone cannot explain. So when reports begin to show that armed groups are under pressure, hope slowly returns, even if people are still cautious. Please like and subscribe so you do not miss any continuation of this story. Another important part of this situation is how information spreads. Social media headlines often exaggerate or simplify complex security developments. That is why it is important to listen to the full story, not just the caption. When you hear words like collapse or total defeat, you should understand them as signs of pressure, not final victory. Real security improvement is measured in months and years, not hours. What is happening now appears to be a focused attempt to weaken coordination among armed groups. Once communication lines are disrupted and leaders are removed, confusion sets in. Groups that once operated with confidence begin to make mistakes. Mistakes lead to exposure, and exposure leads to arrests. This is how pressure works. Please remember to like this video and subscribe if this explanation is helping you understand the situation better. There is also an emotional side to this story that is often ignored. Many families have suffered losses. Some have lost loved ones. Others have lost livelihoods. When arrests are announced, it is not just about politics or government image. For many people, it represents a chance for justice, or at least acknowledgement of their pain. However, justice must be handled carefully. Arrests should be followed by transparent legal processes. When cases drag endlessly or end without clarity, public trust suffers. Nigerians want to see that the rule of law works fairly and consistently. That confidence is essential for long-term peace. Another angle that deserves attention is prevention. Security efforts are most successful when they stop attacks before they happen. This requires strong intelligence, early warning systems, and community cooperation. When people feel safe enough to speak up, security agencies gain valuable information. Fear silences communities, but trust empowers them. Please like and subscribe. It truly supports this kind of responsible discussion. It is also important to understand that insecurity adapts. When pressure increases in one area, criminals may attempt to move elsewhere or change tactics. That is why national coordination matters. A fragmented approach only shifts the problem instead of solving it. What Nigerians need is consistency across regions. Economic recovery is another silent benefit of improved security. When people feel safe, markets grow, farming expands, and transportation improves. Over time, this reduces the desperation that often feeds criminal recruitment. Security and development must work together. As Nigerians observe these current developments, patience will be tested. Some days will bring positive news, other days will bring setbacks. What matters is whether the overall direction remains firm. Abandoning efforts midway can undo progress. Please, like this video and subscribe, and encourage others to do the same so we can keep discussing these issues clearly and calmly. At this stage, the most responsible attitude for citizens is cautious optimism. Hope without pressure leads to disappointment, but skepticism without openness leads to despair. Staying informed, asking questions, and demanding accountability in a peaceful way strengthens democracy and security alike. This story is still unfolding, and its outcome will shape public confidence for a long time. I will keep explaining it step by step in clear English without exaggeration so everyone can follow along.